Welcome to day 535 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein, here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in DeSoFi, the Web3 mobile app built on the DeSo blockchain. So before we get into the news that we have today, in regards to DeSo and the crypto space, there really isn't too much to talk about today. DeSo has been having some issues with building the community, and I don't know if I can say it's an issue with it, but I think it's something that they haven't really focused too much on. Maybe because they want to build out the product first. But Brian, we do have some experience in building communities over the course of our careers.
Yeah, so like before we got into like all the political stuff back in 2016,
What a
which
nightmare
we
that
are, I
was.
guess, more known for, uh, the previous like 14 years or so, like all we did was concentrate on building up internet message boards and communities. And we primarily used vBulletin. vBulletin's a message board system that allows you to basically create a forum about any topics. And it was really a powerful tool. But what we would do is create these internet message boards around all different topics. There are topics related to investing, there are topics related to 3D printing, there were topics related to virtual reality and to making money on the internet and file sharing, all sorts of different forums we created over the years. But what we found the most thrilling was to start these communities from scratch and build them up over a year or two to a thriving community of thousands and thousands of members. And that's what we did with a lot of these sites, but it wasn't easy. It's incredibly difficult to start a community from scratch because you need users in order to attract other users. If you don't have users to begin with which every new forum or message board doesn't have, it's nearly impossible to attract users. So we did a lot of things. We would pay people to basically engage with other users in the beginning so that it appeared that people were actually very active. Sometimes we create multiple accounts and just have conversations with one another, asking questions that were asked a lot within that space and answering them so that it looked like people were getting their questions answered. Because if people came to your site and they didn't have that feel that things were actually happening there, like if they felt like they were going to make a post into like this void and never get any answer and never get any people discussing what they're talking about, they're not going to stick around. And it's hard to retain people if there's no other people there. So I think that like we learned ways to better boost engagement. We learned how to keep people staying around. And I think number one, we made people feel more involved in the community. And this was important. We would sometimes give moderator roles out to users so that they would feel like they played an integral part in where our site and where this platform was headed. And we did this often. We would give like dozens of moderator positions. Some of the people would stick around, some won't. The ones that do would become moderators long term. And a requirement we make for a moderator is to engage with users. Sometimes, sometimes we create, like I said, we create other accounts and just have them interact with each other, and we pay people to come on and start interacting with people.
And
I think that,
that was just in the very start, like the
yeah,
first month or two of starting a site, because you can't start from scratch because it's like the chicken or the egg scenario where people aren't going to come and participate in your community if there's not people in the community first. But if there's people in the community, or even the appearance of people in the community, it gets people to start engaging with each other, and then more people stick around.
yeah. And what we found is after we got that initial launch, where maybe you'd have a few hundred people posting and checking in every day, then you could start reaching out and forming partnerships. And that's what we did. We reach out to other companies, we'd reach out to other websites and say, hey, you don't have a place to discuss what you're doing. Why don't we create a folder on our forum? And that can be your official forum. You can link back to it. And if you have any people using your site or your service have any questions, they can come to our forum and get help, whether you're there or whether other fans of what you're doing are there. And this would just add to the community. It would provide backlinks, which is great for search engines, and and then we take it from there. And then that's kind of how what the blueprint was for most of these forums that we would start out.
Yeah, exactly. So, how do you think this could pertain to DSO?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that people should be creating fake accounts on DSO to boost engagement. I don't think that's really a great idea. But I think that the core team and anybody working around the core team, they should be incentivized to post more. So like if you're on the core team, make a lot of posts, reply a lot, just show that there's a lot of engagement happening. And I wouldn't mind even if they did spend a little bit of money to get some people on board just to post about their expertise and just to create conversations, because I think that's important. Another thing is that I think that if you're going to succeed in the long run, you need to retain these users. And the best way to retain them is you make them feel like they're a part of something big. So have maybe community roles and assign people to community roles, even users that are on the the protocol right now. They don't have to be people that you bring in from outside, but reward people, say, hey, you can have a community role. Maybe you should be responsible for setting up events. Maybe you should be responsible for uh, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of roles that you can provide, and that
I
would
could
keep
see
people stuck.
something working where DSO pays people, like say they go out and say, we're going to hire 100 paid posters, paid engagers, and each one of these people, we're just going to pay them $1,000 every month for 2 or 3 months, and their job is to make at least 30 comments, or like interesting posts or interesting comments each day. And we're gonna time this where we're also marketing DSO heavily at this time, and we're gonna be promoting it to developers, and we're gonna be, you know, getting the word out about DSO at this time. I think that would be a great way to kind of get things really going on DSO. And then you have have people come on and buy NFTs. You have people take part in other nodes. Going back to like what we used to do, I don't think a node operator or somebody who develops an app on DSO has to worry about that chicken or egg scenario anymore. Because if you start an app on DSO, you don't have to worry about getting users, because you're going to have that content already to pre-populate. If we were starting forums and we could, back in the day, and we had access to the DSO blockchain to pre-populate, say we were starting a video game forum, all video game related posts by just, pulling in all posts that had any video game tags, any video game words. We'd pull them in and sort them out the way we want to sort them into our own form. We wouldn't have to worry about, making that like pseudo fake engagement just to get people on board. We'd have that content already. So I think that's a benefit. Maybe we should go back to running discussion forums again and implement DSO, Brian.
Yeah, that's a good project. If anybody's listening, create a V bulletin like software
Oh
that's built
man.
on the DSO blockchain and allow anybody to create internet forums and pull the data from the DSO blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, I think forums have had their time, though. We now have, social media. I think social media has kind of taken the place of discussion forums for the most part. But if we could turn back the clock 15 years, it would definitely be a good strategy.
Yeah. So what's happening on DSO?
So Gemstori, of course, Gemstori is one of the apps, one of the nodes built on the DSO blockchain, run by Brutal, and they've just added the ability to quote repost. I know this seems like, okay, we can quote repost on Diamond, we can quote repost on Desocial World, we can quote repost on just about any node already, but now you can do it on Gemstory, and it's very seamless. The way Brutal did it, it flows very well. It looks really good. I love what Brutal's doing with his node. He's constantly iterating. It's quickly becoming one of the better DSO nodes out there. So just keep up the good work, Brutal. And if you haven't checked out Gemstory yet, check out Gemstory.
Yeah, I love what he did here. Um, as you saw in the video, we played how it works, and like Ed said, it's pretty easy to use. So, what is Goosey's doing? A talent show?
Yes, a Goosies, a very popular NFT series on the DSO blockchain, is having their first annual inaugural Goosies talent show and beauty pageant. They just announced this. It's a little different from the normal talent show or beauty pageant that you're going to be familiar with. It's just an event that Goosies is coordinating on with Rhubarb and Punks to the People to showcase Goosies NFTs. It's going to benefit Goosey's coin holders and attempt to breathe some more life into the DeSo NFT space. DeSo NFT space has been doing pretty well, but they want to help it out even more. So to enter, how do you participate? You just had to comment on the post that's linked to in the text above this video on DeSo or below it on YouTube. Just make that comment with the name of the Goosies NFT that you currently hold. So you have to be a holder, and then state that you want to enter the contest. The entries are going to close at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So you have all day today, all day tomorrow to enter. Only one entry per person, and some of the prizes include Goosies NFTs, cash prizes, and more. There's a mystery prize, I believe. So check it out, and I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out the winner in this.
Yeah, I love these cool ideas that people come up with. Goosey's awesome talent show coming up. Be sure to check it out. So
Definitely.
the top 10 NFT bidders over the last 24 hours, according to NFTZ, these people bid on the most NFTs in the last day. Vesna Solarin was number one, followed by that 70s robot, Rhinelf, Vishal Gulia, Meta Philosopher, J Fraz 2204, My Key Stew, Diamond VC, La Big Mac, and Gilo. And the top 10 daily gainers in coin value over the last 24 hours, thanks to our friends at Altum Base, these people had their coin value or social token on DeSo go up the most in the last day as people buy and sell them on along the bonding curve. And they were Goosies was number one, who we just spoke about, followed by Smart Girl Credit, Dilora Bilgic, I probably butchered that, Dopey Duck, Futuristico, F Tanix, Matt Hummels, Young Blood, Randier, and Darian Parrish.
Yeah, so a couple of those names are unclaimed celebrity names. I think Matt's Hummels and Youngblood are both celebrity names that have not been claimed yet. People are just speculating buying these accounts, I believe. So moving on to the events taking place on DeSo today. Thanks once again to Miss Katie Ann, who's so consistent with these. 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks to Vishal Guya for keeping us updated on this. The iOS 16 launch for all iPhone users takes place at 8 a.m. Eastern Time today. It's already taken place. This video is being recorded at 9:21 a.m. Eastern Time. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time is Metaverse Mondays with Landon Meserve on Entra. Go to joinentra.com and check that out. And at 8 p.m. Eastern Time is Investor Office Hours live on Entra with Michael Mara and angel investor Scott Kalek. Definitely check it out. Miss Katie Ann always has the links directly to each individual event on her profile. So just go to Miss Katie Ann on DeSo and you'll be linked directly to these events at the time specified. And that's all the news that we have for today. Everybody have a great rest of your Monday. Hopefully it's an exciting week ahead for DeSo. We'll have to wait and see.